Welcome, Cleveland. Thanks for joining the live stream. Strike lightning. All right, welcome in, guys. We're going to be talking Auburn football and their upcoming Friday night matchup against the Baylor Bears in Waco, Texas. And boy, this is a big one for the Tigers, entering year three of the Hugh Freeze era, and obviously the first two seasons not exactly up to par with where we want to be because we know you know, as an Auburn fan, I think we would all agree we expect to be up there with the Georgias, with the Alabamas, LSUs, all those guys. And the truth is, we haven't been there for really the last 5 years or so. And this is the year that I feel like there's a lot of confidence in both the roster. I think we have a really solid coaching staff this year. And, I've said this for now 2 years straight, and last year did not go as well as I predicted it to or expected. So, you know, I don't know. I have that, belief it's that week where we can have the most confidence. We're undefeated. We're 0-0. But boy, if we could get this one on Friday night, what a confidence booster that would be. Not just for our guys, but really to send a message to the country that Auburn is a team that can go toe to toe against anybody, anywhere. And I want to start out with the depth chart that we get to see. Obviously, Jackson Arnold will be the starter with Deuce Knight and Aston Daniels. They will be the backup. Damari Alston will take the first team snaps at running back with Jeremiah Cobb and Darrell Robinson, which will both be the backups there. And Damari Alston, a guy I wanted to talk about for a second. He's obviously bid his time well at Auburn. This is his third season now. He obviously backed up Jarquez for 2 seasons and has gotten plenty of playing time. And when he's gotten in there, he's played very well. And at wide receiver X, we have Cam Coleman as expected. Sam Turner who is what we have heard been a star in fall camp, and he's been one of those guys that's been turning heads as a freshman. 3-star recruit. Really excited to see him play. Hopefully, we'll see him some Friday night. If Cam needs a breather. Wide receiver 8 is going to be Eric Singleton Jr. or Malcolm Kane. One guy that stands out right there is Bryce Kane. He was one of the Freeze 4 from 2 years ago recruiting. Did not get a ton of playing time last year. We expect him to be getting into a bigger role this year, being a sophomore. Maybe hopefully he's learning from them. Eric Singleton, obviously, we know he's legit. Transfer from Georgia Tech. He was the number one overall wide receiver in this last portal. So he was such a huge get for the Tigers to have. And we expect him to play whether that's out on the edge because of his speed or that's moving it downfield with him and Coleman. In wide receiver Z, we have Horatio Fields, transfer from Wake Forest. He's another one of those veteran receivers, which I really feel like can help put obviously depth in that room and also experience because this is a guy we expect to start, obviously. And this is the official roster from Auburn. This is not me. And we have Perry Thompson backing him up there. And Perry Thompson is another one of those guys that he was a 5-star, another one of the Freeze 4, and obviously last year he did get the field a little bit closer to the end of the season, kind of that in Missouri he got a few snaps, and the last 3 or 4 he got in. And we expect him to get a bigger role this year. Like I said, if Horatio, gets injured or any rest is needed, he can jump in there. Tight end is an interesting spot for me. I think this is going to be really one of the only areas of offense, maybe besides running back, that we take a step back. Obviously, we had Rivaldo Fairweather and Luke Deal last year. Rivaldo being more of the receiving tight end. He would go out for more routes. He would get more passes. Luke Deal was obviously more in the run package, and he was very good at what he did. But right here, you have Brandon Frazier and Preston Howard. Preston Howard, obviously a transfer coming in, and Frazier, who was the, I believe, third string on last year's depth chart, did get some playing time. And one of those guys kind of has that medium build where I think he could be valuable in the run game, and I think he could also be valuable in the pass game. And same with Preston Howard, another very kind of similar build. I think he'll be slightly more valuable in the pass game, could be valuable in the run game. We'll see. And the offensive line, I think, could be our strongest position because we have so much experience there We have Xavier Chap. This is the starting lineup right here. Xavier Chaplin, Dylan Wade, Connor Liu, Jeremiah Wright, and Mason Murphy. So you're going to hear two new names in there. That's Mason Murphy from USC, came in. He was a starter there last year, obviously coming to Auburn this year. And then Xavier Chaplin, he was the 13th ranked overall transfer recruit this past offseason. He was a big get from Virginia Tech. We expect him to be a high draft pick as long as he stays healthy. And obviously Connor Liu, this will be his third year starting. He's a junior, one of the better centers Auburn has seen in years. And Jeremiah Wright, just a big dude, great at blocking. We know that he's experienced. And even look at Auburn's depth chart. You have Tutal Miller, he's at left tackle. DeAndre Carter is at left guard. Dylan Cinda is at center. And we've seen him take a lot of snaps after Connor Liu obviously was injured for a little bit. And Seth Wilfred is at right guard. We've seen him take snaps when Jeremiah Wright has been injured. And then Tyler Johnson, another one of those guys that has been a little bit in and out. And the offensively, I gotta think this is our best roster in probably 5 or 6 years, probably since Bo Nix's time at Auburn. And that obviously gives me a lot of confidence. And I think one thing to focus on and look for on Friday night is Baylor defense and secondary. Auburn, with arguably the deepest receiver core in the nation, could be the team that stretches that and can stretch that field both vertically, horizontally, anyway, because you have the speed of Coleman, Singleton. Darmari Alston is a guy that can go out of the backfield and catch. I think that's what Auburn has to execute well on to take out the victory Friday. And looking at Auburn's defense, we're going to look at defensive tackle. That's Zacchaeus Walker or Malik Blockton. Malik Autry and the guys that are kind of more depth. Not really seen as starters. But Malik Blockton, boy, he played really well last year as a freshman. Malik Autry is a incoming freshman, and from what I've heard and read, he has done fantastic in this offseason, really made a name for himself. Nose tackle, we have Bobby Jamison Travis, who's a returner from last year. Dallas Walker, another returner. Jay Hardy was here last year. Jordan Crawford was here last year, so a lot of experience there and a lot of familiar names. And then defensive end, a player who would say is probably very likely the best player on Auburn, and that is Keldrick Falk. Top 15 projected NFL draft pick. I think could be a top 10. Should he keep improving his game? A lot of people were worried last year that he was going to go through that sophomore slump. No such thing. He played fantastic. He was a game changer and game breaker on defense. And Amaris Williams, another really good defensive end. He's a incoming. He's a sophomore actually. He was one that we flipped from Florida 2 years ago recruiting, and he's very 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 talented. But obviously trying to beat Keldrick Falk is a tough task. Linebacker is going to be one of our weaker positions, I believe, unfortunately, and that's where we're going to have Kieran Crawford will be at Buck. Demarcus Riddick, who is actually from Clanton, Alabama, so big shout out to him. And Robert Woodyard Jr. Those are going to be your starters. Some of the depth right there is Caleb Wheatland. He'll back up Robert Woodyard. You're going to have Bryce Diaz back up Demarcus Riddick. And J.J. Falk, who is the brother of Keldrick Falk, or Chris Murray, they will back up Kieran Crawford over at Buck. Another position that I'm excited about is our secondary, which also includes star. So that would be Sylvester Smith right there. Kinsley Ludorfos and Anquan Fagans are also there to kind of fight for that spot. We have arguably one of our better positions on the team, free safety. We have Champ Anthony, who's back. We saw him deliver that absolute blow in the Arkansas game. Consequently, he was also injured in that very same game, and we did not see him for the rest of the season. Hope he's healthy. What we've heard is that he's good to go, and I'm excited to see him, and I think a lot of people are. And then at Caleb Harris, also at safety, that would be strong safety. Or Eric Winters. Eric Winters, a freshman, very, very highly recruited, very talented. Excited to see him. But especially Caleb Harris, the probably the top freshman safety in the SEC, maybe in the country last year, coming back to boost this defense. Very, very excited about him. And at cornerback, we have Kayan Lee and Jay Crawford are the starters. However, I think Rayson Pleasant and Rayon Strader are two guys that could very well get a lot of reps and a lot of snaps. Obviously, Rayon Strader, the transfer from Ohio, he's very, very highly recruited in the portal. I think he was a top 100 player, and that was a big get for us in terms of just depth, really. So, so I'm excited about our secondary. We're gonna to another position that I'm a little nervous about. I am a little wary, which is special teams. We went 12 of 22 last year in field goals. Not optimal from a year before that. We went 13 of 13, did not miss, only team in the country to do that. So that cannot happen again. And good news is we have Alex McPherson coming back. They do say that he is healed from the grotescal injury. He still has a few physical ailments, they say, but so far is looking good. We just have to hope he stays healthy. Um, Gonna have to look at somebody else's comments, respond. Uh, Thank you, Cleveland, W Stream, appreciate it. Silas, good to see you on the stream. And yes, I am in the studio, but no, do not go to Georgia. Cleveland, yes, I agree. Cam Coleman will be a top five receiver this year. I completely agree with you there. And you're right. Jarquez Hunter, he was a dog. Obviously on the Los Angeles Rams in the NFL right now. Good luck to him. Ethan Simmons, what's good, guys? What's up? He says roll tide. I got to disagree with him on that one. Say War Eagle. Cleveland says ESPN said hire you as an analyst. Thank you, Cleveland. What do you think about Hank Brown transferring? That one to me didn't hurt a ton because I knew that we'd be able to go out and get somebody. He, obviously went to Iowa, and we'll see how well he fits into that offense over there. And hey, look, best of luck to him. I really hope that he can go and have a good career over there. But we're gonna see. Ethan Simmons again says, "Roll Tide, Roll Tide." I'm gonna have to disagree with you twice on this one. War Dang Eagle. And if anybody has any questions or anything before I move on to talking about the actual matchup against Baylor, you're very welcome to comment. I'll give you all a second for that real quick. And thank you to all my listeners. I really appreciate it, guys. And hopefully, I'm gonna be able to make this a more frequent thing. I will be doing a post game reaction after the game on Baylor. Hopefully, I'm in as cheery as a mood as I am right now. Uh, but yeah, we'll. It's gonna be a big matchup. Andrew says, "Yo, Wesley, what's up, man? What is up to you as well? It's going well. Hope you're having a good day, and hope all my watchers and followers are having a good day." Zach C48 says, "Who would you like to see Auburn play in OOC with the new and out of conference with the new SEC schedule rules? If I could pick a perfect 3 game out of conference schedule, I would love to play Florida State. That would be my first pick. Have a chance. I just think it's a great stadium, whether they come to us or we go to them. Two, arguably blue blood schools with a rematch of the 2013 national championship. Another matchup I would really love to see. I think it would be cool to play somebody like Houston because I think Auburn has taken a few trips to Texas the last few years, whether it's going to A&M. We'll obviously play Texas in the near future. Basketball, we've taken a lot of trips there. I think Houston would be a really cool team to play. And then I would love to play really anybody in the Big Ten. I think Penn State. I know Michigan State would be really cool. Go over to East Lansing. I think that could be a really nice matchup, especially after the Elite Eight matchup we just had in basketball. If we played Michigan or Ohio State, I would love that. That's a great question. Thank you, Zach. Let me give you all another minute or two to comment any questions or insights y'all would like to give. Real quick, I'm gonna go over the kind of last of the roster, and that's gonna be kick return will be Rayson Pleasant. Punt returner is gonna be Eric Singleton Jr. Towns Magoo or Connor Gibbs will probably kick the ball off, and puncher will be Hudson Cack. He is a transfer from Oklahoma State. and he's going to replace the longtime Auburn punter Oscar Chapman, a Auburn legend. And with as much as we punted the ball these last 2 seasons, he got his work in, and he's a player that I really loved. All right, we're going to go ahead and move into the matchup, Auburn versus Baylor. It's 7 o'clock on Fox on Friday. To my knowledge, the first Auburn regular season game not on a Saturday since 2014 or 13, I believe. So it's been a hot minute since we've seen a matchup like this. All right, but here we go. So Baylor, we're gonna talk about them for a little bit. Baylor went 8-5 last season. They started the season off 2-4. They definitely struggled, and they won 6 games in a row, and then lost obviously their bowl game to LSU 44-31. And LSU is a really great team. No shame in losing that bowl game right there. So this is a good Baylor team. Dave Aranda, I believe, is in his third or fourth year there, and he's done a very good job with that program. They've had winning seasons every year there. Looking at current projections, I've seen at worst them projected to be the fourth best team in the Big 12, and I've seen many predictions winning the Big 12. So you're talking about Auburn going on the road to a potential Big 12 champion. This is a very big matchup, and Baylor obviously they've won 6 of their last 7 games, and projected to be very good. They have arguably the best returning quarterback in the Big 12. That's Sawyer Robertson. Fantastic stats from last year. They bring back some weapons on offense. Josh Cameron, Kobe Prentice, who some of y'all might remember. He was on Alabama 2 seasons ago, transferred to Baylor, his second season there. And leading their defense is linebacker, that's Keaton Thomas, and Devin Bobby at strong safety. So that's kind of some of their leaders over there on defense. Now, two areas of Baylor where I believe that they're going to have a lot of success at against Auburn is the run game. Auburn has strong defensive linemen. Linebacker room is a little bit more unsure. We're not really sure what that's going to look like. So I think that they're going to have a lot of success in just really just up the middle. I think Auburn has two good defenders on the edge, but lacks a little bit in the inside and lacks a little bit at linebacker. That's where they're going to have success running the ball. But I think Auburn's going to be the better team in terms defensively and offensively, might give Baylor that slight edge in the run game. And Silas asks, what's your thoughts on Nico leading the Vols? Do you also think they're going downhill because of it? That's a great question. Um, oh yeah, obviously, I'm sure most of you know Nico Iamaleava, who was the Tennessee quarterback the last season. Had some issues. He demanded $4 million for his football services. Tennessee had him at 2, said no can do. We're not going to give you that, and ultimately he left, went to UCLA, and subsequently UCLA's quarterback Joey Aguilar went to Tennessee. So kind of like that first ever quarterback trade. In all honesty, I don't expect Tennessee to be as good this year. I do think they're going to take that step back. Now they did lose Dylan Sampson, who is just fantastic at running back. Obviously on the Cleveland Browns now. James Pierce Jr., one of the best defensive ends in the country, also in the NFL now. And I think it's a lot of that too. I do like Nico as a quarterback. I don't know that I would have put him top 5 in the SEC though. A step back in terms of the offensive line. I believe they're replacing all 4 or 5 guys. So I think it's just replacing everybody, not just Nico. But I do think the Vols are going to have a little bit of that backslide. I don't expect them to be in a college conversation, but I could be wrong. Um, they may come out and shock me. Josh Heupel, he's done unbelievably well at Tennessee during his tenure there. So definitely excited to see what they can do, but just a lot of uncertainty. And that program, it feels like. I mean, even Auburn, Baylor, both teams have a lot of questions that need to be answered, and they'll be answered on Friday night, obviously, as Tennessee Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, versus Syracuse. I believe it's North Carolina. It's a neutral site, but I'm excited for that matchup as well. But yeah, thank you, Silas. That's a great question. And again, thank you for all my watchers and listeners for tuning in. I would say I have a sponsor, but I don't. Um, I don't know what this water bottle brand is. This is sponsoring me today, by the way, guys. Thanks. purified water for your thirst, recycle the planet. It's Members Mark. I think you can buy it at like any major store. So free shout out. They deserve it. They've worked hard. Um, but yeah, no, I'm very excited for this matchup on Friday. Like I said, both teams, obviously neither team is ranked, but I think these are two teams that could very well be ranked by week 3 or 4. Obviously, kind of depends on who wins this matchup on Friday, and it's a big one. So, like I said, if Auburn loses this game, it feels like there's going to be some of that panic, like, oh my gosh, I feel like we expected to win this one, we needed to win this one, and I don't disagree with the people who think that. They're not wrong for thinking that at all. I completely agree. I think this is a game for Auburn. If we want to be a dark horse candidate for either the SEC or the playoffs, we have to beat Baylor week 1. There is no other way around it. This is not a must win for Auburn, but this is, I think, we have more to lose than we do to win right here. But I think there's a lot of reasons for confidence for the Tigers on Friday. And there's also just as many reasons to be afraid of Baylor. Really good team. And obviously, I put my predictions out there. You can go back, visit my page, ROS Holmes. You will see that I have Auburn winning 31-13. And some of y'all might think, hey, that's a blowout. In my opinion, it's going to be 17-13 at half. Auburn's going to come out, score real quick, and then they're going to get a late garbage time touchdown. So it's going to be one of those games where I don't think the final score reflects how the game really went. But it is going to show, hey, Auburn's here. They made a statement. I have Jackson Arnold being the offensive MVP for the Tigers. I just think with Baylor's slightly weaker secondary, we're going to pick on them a little bit. We have Cam Coleman, we got Eric Singleton, Horatio Fields, so many really solid receivers that are going to be able to go downfield, stretch the field vertically, and score against this Bears defense. And like I said, this may all come to nothing. We may not score a point on Friday. I am not sure. Silas says, sponsored by Jack's Creek's Euro Mounts and Superior Turf. Yeah, so Superior Turf, you should actually give them a call if you live in the Tennessee area. That's my good buddy, Caleb Vieira. Love the Vieira family. Shout out to them. And so if you need have any turf needs, I don't know what their number is. I think I still have his card. If it's still the same as this one, maybe it's not that one. I guess I don't have his card anymore. But yeah, and again, if you just joined, we are talking about this upcoming matchup, 7 o'clock Fox, big matchup, and I am so excited. Zach says, getting ready for that basketball rematch, go blue. War Eagle, yeah, Auburn getting the best of the Wolverines in this past Sweet 16 matchup earlier in March. March Madness was going on at that time, and well, that was an awesome win for the Tigers, and just a great season in basketball. But yeah, and if anyone still has any college football questions or anything, feel free to comment or just have any life questions. I'm a life coach, guys. I'm happy to give any advice I can. I'm just kidding. I'm not a life coach. But yeah, boy, this is I keep saying it. It's a big one, and I've been thinking about this one for all off season. Been getting ready for it. I got my outfit picked out. I'm going to orange out. I think you guys should too. So if you got any orange pants, orange Sakers, bring them out. We got to get hyped because they're gonna have a lot more yellow and green fans there than orange and blue. So we got to be at home. We got to be loud. We got to be proud. It's a great week to be an Auburn Tiger, and I think I'm about ready to. If anyone has any final comments and/or questions, you can go ahead and send those in. And I'm happy to sit here as long as y'all want and talk. But if nobody has any further questions, we'll wrap it up. Call it a night. And again, just thank you to all the listeners and watchers, and hopefully y'all will join me again. Can't give an exact time for my next live stream. May do one before the game on Friday. So if you want, probably about 6:30 or so. Might even have special guest Marty Rochester on the show for that day. He'll be coming over to watch the game with me, and it's going to be. Zach says expand the college football playoff to 128 teams. That's a no can do. I think that would be a really bad idea. I assume he meant that in satire. I hope. I'm sorry if I offended you, but that would just take away everything the regular season stands for, and it just would make so many big matchups mean nothing. Cleveland says more live streams, twin. All right, I got you. I don't know if I can do one every day, but maybe one every couple. If y'all like this, comment, say, hey, great show. Let's do another one. If it's just trash, hey, brutal honesty. Let me know what I can improve upon. Message. I'm I'm there if you'd like me to talk about any topic, any team. I'll do my research. So, like I said, if you want to hear me talk about something, just message me. If you want to call and be on the live stream, I'm sure I could get that taken care of for you. Again, just go to R West Homes, send me a DM. I will get back to you as soon as possible. And again, hey, to anyone that just joined us, I've been talking about Auburn Baylor on Friday night, a huge matchup for both teams. Baylor having a lot of momentum from last season and winning 6 of their last 7, and Auburn obviously having a lot of momentum in this offseason with both the portal, both the recruiting. Football fans, I mean, what a week we have. We have Ohio State, Texas at 11 o'clock. That's awesome. Tennessee, Syracuse. We got Alabama, Florida State. Um, and New Mexico, they're going to storm into Ann Arbor, beat Mississippi. I'm just kidding. That's not happening. But we have LSU, Clemson, a great matchup. We have TCU, North Carolina. Just what a time to be alive. Cleveland says, let's talk Aaron Hernandez. I'm going to be fully honest, dude. I don't know baseball that well. Um, I would have to prepare better for that. I'm more of a football, basketball, NASCAR kind of guy, but I'll do my research. How about this? I'll talk to me. We'll get something figured out about Mr. Aaron Hernandez. I think he's on the Yankees. Is he on the Yankees? Let me Google that. I'm old. I use Google. Aaron Hernandez. Oh shoot, no, that's the Patriots dude. I forgot. They made the show about him. Oh, I forgot about that. I'm thinking of Aaron Judge. I'm so dumb. Yeah, Aaron Hernandez, who they made a TV show about, obviously had some legal issues, and not gonna go too deep into. I remember the story now. Yeah, just a terrible. It's tragic, all of it. Um, Sorry, just looking at some of y'all's comments. Uh, NASCAR live stream win. Yeah, I'm happy to do NASCAR. Big Chase Elliott fan over here. We got the playoffs coming up. 16 teams in there, and boy, I'm excited. It's gonna be awesome. Um, sorry, Cleveland. He was not a baseball player. Um, and again, and just wow, what a fun week. I'm just so excited. I keep saying it. Uh, and I think it's just Cleveland and Zach watching now. So I appreciate it, you too. Love you guys, and boy, hopefully we can do some more of these and keep building on it. Hopefully, what I'm hoping for is if y'all listen to Zach Blackerby, covers Auburn football, really in general, very close to the Tigers. He runs Auburn Undercover. What I'm hoping is I can get big enough to be on that show because that would be awesome. I actually messaged him the other day, and he actually did respond. It was pretty cool. Same with Horatio Fields, a Auburn wide receiver who I messaged, and he actually did respond. And I had a brief conversation. So, man, so many things to be excited about. If everyone would comment a game that you're excited about, that's not week one? Like, what's the big matchup for you? And and I know you're going to want to say the Iron Bowl or the game or something, but like, what's just a matchup that you think's a little under the radar that you think's going to have a big impact on the playoff, or is just going to be hype to watch? Zach says Michigan and Oklahoma. That is a big matchup. Definitely one that's going to be, like I said, a little under the radar. Michigan probably being the seen by most as one of the third or fourth teams in the Big Ten, and Oklahoma kind of is probably in that next tier. I would say you have kind of Alabama, Georgia, Texas, and maybe throw LSU kind of into that national championship contention. And then I feel like Oklahoma's kind of the leader of that next tier, maybe with Florida, Auburn, Ole Miss, maybe a few others, where it's kind of dark horse playoff, right? So I think winner of Michigan, Oklahoma is, I'm trying to think. I don't know that I would call it a playoff impacting game, but I think it's one of those that could give both teams a ton of momentum starting the season, because that's week two. So, we got to prepare for that one. Gabe says Auburn at Hawaii. Um, Gabe, I don't know what schedule you've been looking at. Maybe a future one. Auburn does not play Hawaii. Uh, to my knowledge, hey, unless we just rescheduled it, so that one's not happening. Uh, Cleveland says he's responding to Zach. He says Hawaii is winning the Natty this year. Look, if they played Stanford every week, they would win the Natty. They put a butt whooping on them. As I'm sure y'all saw that matchup on Saturday, along with Iowa State, Kansas State. I mean, college football's back. We are so back. Life is peaking at the right time. It's NASCAR playoff time as well. NFL is coming back. I mean, look, we've got it, guys. We're good. We're doing great. Um, hmm. Cleveland's about to get blocked. Uh, says instead of stealing computers, Cam Newton should practice jumping on fumbles. Oh my lord. Mm. Uh, whew. How? Mm. Yeah, I don't know what to say to that one. He's referencing the 2015 Super Bowl, Panthers Broncos. I was a diehard Panthers fan at the time. Had my Cam jersey on and everything. I was devastated at that one. That was a very very tough loss. So bringing up some hurt, but just further reminder, he's been to more Super Bowls than you probably ever will. Uh, just messing Cleveland, but yeah, I wish he had jumped on it. But past is past. One of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it. So I think his career outweighs one mistake. The Florida State Seminoles are going to get whooped by the Gators this year. Cleveland says I might have to agree with him. Florida State, I do think is going to be better. You really can't be worse than 2-10, like they did last year. I think that would be very tough. But Florida is a team I'm very excited about. You have what a quarterback they might have over there. Mike got disconnected, guys. I'm sorry. Sorry, but yeah, I got to agree with Cleveland right there. I think Florida is going to put a Gator whooping on them right there. If I could call an early prediction, probably 38-10 in the swamp. And I listened to a sports show that's Three Man Front. They had one of the Florida State experts who weighs in on the show talking about if Florida State can just stay in this game, stay close, do what they want, they'll be happy. And to me, when you have that mindset, you're already in the place of, okay, lose. And hey, if we fight them well, we fight them well. I don't think that's the right mindset for Florida State to have at all against Alabama. they have to go into this game thinking they can win. And I think Tommy Castronella, however you say his name, the transfer over there, he's had that mentality of we're going to go beat Florida State, or as Cleveland calls them, the Florida State Criminals. A little wordplay right there. Gabe is looking at the schedule in his cookbook. I guess a recipe called for Auburn and Hawaii, perhaps an Auburn colored spice and a Hawaiian spice, maybe on a steak or something. I don't know. I do like steak. I like cooking. All right, guys. You know when I get to talking about steak, probably at the end. And again, if y'all have any last questions, I'm happy to take them. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll get a another live stream in either Thursday or Friday, and obviously the post game Baylor on Friday night. Listen, I'm gonna give y'all 1 or 2 more minutes to ask any questions, but yeah, I'm so excited. I hope you guys are too. I hope I've been able to say something maybe y'all haven't heard, offer some insight into anything. And like I said, if anyone has any topics they'd like to talk about or anything, I'm happy to talk about that. Even if it's Alabama football, I'm happy to talk about them as well. So like I said, just message me or text me if you have my number. I'm not going to put that out, obviously, but I think everyone listening now has it. Um, but yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much. All right, we're